Method number 2 for changing our emotions from negative to positive is to focus on the same event, but reinterpret the way we think about that event. And this is, if you read the book, Learned Optimism, I really encourage you to, I believe it's chapter 3 or 4, really dig into this. But it's tremendously important that we reinterpret the way we look at an event in order to move from negative emotion to positive emotion. So let me share this with you. There's 4 things that you can do when you're thinking about an event. You can look for lack of evidence for the negative thought. You can look for alternative explanations. You can look for a weak premise. And you can look for the uselessness of the negative thought. I'm going to give you an example, and then I'm going to give you an example to work on in a small group setting. This is a fictitious example. Mark was 27 years old. He had been working for a company, a medium-sized company, for 5 years. He had an apartment and a car, and he was engaged to be married. The stock market dropped 3,000 points in one day. And Mark thought to himself, I'm going to lose my job. They're going to fire me. I'm one of the newest people in my department. I'm going to lose my job. I'm going to lose my new house. I'm going to probably lose my apartment and my car. And I'm going to have to tell my fiance that I'm now unemployed. And so Mark's emotions become extremely negative. He becomes fearful and angry and frustrated, and it hurts his performance at work. Let's take the exact same scenario and let's change it around. Mark is 27 years old. He works for a company. He has a car and an apartment, and he just put a down payment on a new house, and he's engaged to be married. The stock market drops 3,000 points in one day. And now he looks for he's thinking about the event, and he's starting to have negative thoughts. And he says, wait a second, lack of evidence. There's no guarantee that our company is going to fire people right away. It's not going to affect our sales for 100 days. And in 100 days, the stock market might come back up. Alternative explanations. Mark might think to himself, they may not fire anybody. Our company might think of this as an opportunity to acquire other companies. And this could be an opportunity for me to grow my career. There may be more opportunities because the stock market dropped. And then it's a weak premise to think that because the stock market dropped, I'm going to be fired and lose my house. There's no connection here. This is not a if-then statement. So it's a weak premise. And the uselessness of the negative thought. Because he went into the downward spiral of thinking that because the stock market dropped, I'm going to lose my house, my job, and have to tell my fiance, his performance went down. It's useless to have that negative thought. It hurt his performance, and that might lead to him losing his job. And so we can argue with ourselves and reinterpret how we look at an event.